Welcome to the Travel Agent Podcast. I'm your host, Aylin Blanco. I interview successful industry professionals and share my personal journey to becoming a travel agent. The show is for aspiring travel agents and travel professionals at every level. My mission is to uncover the universal keys to thrive in this business. Join me as I take a closer look into the life of a travel agent. Hello and welcome to the Travel Agent Podcast. I am so excited about my guest today. She is amazing and is so ready to give us the best information. I'm going to turn it over. Kimberlee's going to talk a little bit about herself and we're going to get this interview started.
Hi, Aylin. Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting. I'm so excited for you and everything you have going on, and just being a part of it makes me so happy. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So I have been in the business for 5 years. It's hard for me to believe, but it's been just an incredible ride. It's been a lot of fun for me. I've had some really great success. I have won several awards, which is really fun and rewarding. And I just love what I do. So certainly I'm happy to tell you a little bit about my business and how I run my business, but I'm also happy to answer any questions that you have for me.
Awesome. So let's get started. So how did you become a travel advisor?
Travel advisor. I love that. So I was planning a trip with a girlfriend of mine. It just came up very randomly. And we made a decision that we were going to go to London and Paris. And neither of us were world travelers at that point. I said I would do the work. She said, great. I went home, got on the internet like most people do, go to the internet, see what you can put together. And I quickly realized that this was going to be a big challenge for me. So I reached out to a girlfriend of mine who owned a travel agency in my local city. And I asked her if we could meet at Starbucks to help me with this trip. And we did, and we started planning it, and everything worked out really well. And through the planning process, she said to me, you would be so great at this. Why don't you join my agency? And I was like, oh, I think you're crazy. I had never done anything in travel before other than my own personal travel. I was very fortunate to stay home and raise my kids, who are now adults. And so I just was like, oh, I don't know. I said, let me go on my trip and I'll think about it. And I went on this amazing vacation to London and Paris. And I came back and I said to her, if I can provide for other people what you just did for me, I'm in. Sign me up. Because it was really just an amazing experience from start to finish. No flaws. Hotels planned, transportation planned, tours planned, everything was done. So I joined her agency. It was a very easy process, much different than what I would have ever expected. I always in my head thought that maybe this could be a job for me or a career for me, but I was fearful, like I'm sure most people are, to start something new. And also I just assumed that you had to have some sort of education to become a travel advisor. And although education in this industry is hugely important, it's not required to become a member of the travel industry. So I joined her and I worked with her for about 6 months, but personal circumstances for her, she decided to kind of do her own thing, didn't want to have people working with her any longer. And I took that as an opportunity to create my business, An Extraordinary Traveler. That was in January of 2015. And I can tell you that I have not looked back. It's been an amazing, amazing ride.
That is such a great story. And I swear, like, everybody's like, I went on a trip, or somebody asked me why I'm not doing this, or you'd be awesome at this. So I love that people can recognize like when you'd be awesome at something because of how you are, just are being yourself. Like, that's awesome. So since you've been doing this a little while, and for me, it seems like a really long time because I've only been doing it a year. What is the one thing you wish you would have known when you started out that you know now?
Some of the things I was thinking about this and sort of thinking about this question actually not too long ago, and how I would do things differently. And I was really very fortunate when I started because I had some sort of built-in clientele right from the get-go. But I think what I would do differently, I was in the industry for about a year before I started going to training events. My host agency that I work for provides some really amazing training events. And so had I known, or could I go back and do it differently, I would have done those training events before I even attempted to make sales and to have business coming to me, because I literally was flying by the seat of my pants. I was, kind of that fake it till you make it, even though I had great resources and great people behind me to help me, to make me look and feel like I knew exactly what I was doing. Had I taken advantage of some of those training resources prior, I would have been even more successful, I think.
It's crazy that you say that because, as I keep mentioning, I just finished my first year, and that is literally the one thing that I'm like, I wish I would have known about all of these conferences and trainings in the very beginning. And it was something that it was one of the first things that was brought up. Because now, like you, I'm in my second year and I'm like, I got to go to all of them. I got to go to all of them.
It's FOMO of travel conventions.
So tell me something that you kind of failed at that you were able to recover from.
Sure. So I've made quite a few mistakes in the early days, little things like, when it comes to crossing T's and dotting I's, of course, it's all in the detail. That's what I've really discovered about this industry. And lots of different details, but in planning, it's in the detail. And I don't know that I've failed per se so much as I've just made some costly mistakes. And all I can do and all I've ever done is just tell the truth and be very honest with my clients and take care of whatever it was that I messed up. And for example, I had a group of sisters that were going to Mexico, five ladies going to Mexico, and they had requested a certain room category. And I knew exactly what they wanted. I swear I booked it that way. I promise. And I could, swear on somebody's life that I booked it that way. And they arrived at the resort, and I immediately got a phone call. We went to the check-in area for the club amenities, and they don't have a reservation for us. And I was like, oh my gosh. Well, that was a $2,500 mistake. And I paid it. And I just said, and I made arrangements for them to get that upgrade that they were expecting. And I fixed it, and I came to their rescue, and I took care of it. And that was probably 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago. And I still book all of their travel because they know they can trust me. They know that even if I mess up, I'm going to fix it for them. So it was a great learning experience for me that I really need to be more laser focused on what I've planned for my clients. So again, I don't know that it was a failure. In some ways, I think it was really better for my business because it taught me a lesson. But I really haven't had, in the 5 years, I would say I'm very fortunate that I haven't had anything that I would say I've failed at in the industry.
That's a great lesson that I hope never to have to learn.
Right? Yeah. So cross your T's and dot your I's.
So what is the most important thing that you've gained from working in the industry?
Oh gosh. There's so many different things that I could name here. I think above and beyond everything else, it's really just that I have value. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the industry itself, but the industry has brought that to my life. I think because of the relationships that I've built within the industry and the experiences that I've had and the relationships that I've made with my clients, and, that to me, I think is really the key for me. It's just that value, because not to make light of being able to be a stay-at-home mom, because literally it's making me a little emotional, but literally it was like that was the best gift I could have given my children was to be able to stay home and raise them. But it doesn't bring you the value as a woman, right? It doesn't bring you a whole lot of value to change diapers and make bottles and get the kids to and from school and all of those things. It's just it becomes just your routine. So doing this and creating such a successful business and having something that I can call my own, it's the value. It's like I matter and I'm important. And sorry, it makes me emotional, but I really do. I feel it's the value that I feel in it.
That's amazing. And I'm so glad that you're just being so open with us, because I mean, that's a thing. I also stayed home for a little while, and I can completely like understand where you're coming from. Like you feel incredibly blessed that you're able to do that, but to finally have something that like is yours, it is emotional. It's very emotional because everybody doesn't have that opportunity or doesn't take that opportunity. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I had no confidence in myself going into this. I mean, I shouldn't say that. That sounds terrible, but I certainly didn't have a level of confidence that I gained through owning my own business and creating what I've created. It's just, it's just completely different. On the flip side of that, going back to my now adult children, they're really great people. So I did something really, my husband and I, did something really, really well, but this is just a completely different baby. This is just a different entity.
Yeah. So what is the most exciting thing that you have going on in your business right now?
So exciting is just that it just keeps on keeping on. I mean, it's just, every time I feel like, oh my gosh, is my phone going to ever ring again? It rings and rings and rings. And, and that and the referrals, the people who send their friends to me. And, again, it's that they like me, they really like me, kind of feeling. And it's like, okay, they respect me. They want their friends to have similar experiences. So as far as exciting, I have some really great trips coming up for clients, some great multi-generational trips, which I absolutely love to plan when grandma and grandpa and their kids and the grandkids and everybody's involved. That's super exciting. I've got some great trips personally coming up. I'm taking my daughter, who's 25, and just, I just get emotional again. Okay. Who's 25 and just graduated from graduate school and got her master's. She and I are going to spend a week in Scotland and London, specifically going to see an Ed Sheeran concert.
Awesome.
But for me personally, also my husband and I are going to South Africa in September to do a safari, which I'm unbelievably excited about. And then lastly, I just got invited recently to a conference in Cannes, France, the ILTM conference, which is just a huge honor. It's just a gift to be included in. It's for luxury agents. You have to sell a certain amount of travel a year. You have to sell a certain type of travel. And it is one-on-one appointments with all kinds of amazing tour operators and DMCs and suppliers. So I'm super excited about that. And they are, not only did they invite me to come, but they're paying my way, even my flights, everything is included. So I feel very, very honored. So super excited about that. And then I'm already planning all kinds of travel for myself and for clients for 2020. So I'm going to be around for a while. And so I love that.
I know it's super cliche, but like, I wish more people knew, like, travel agents, travel advisors change lives, not necessarily like just your clients' lives, but your own life. Like, travel changes lives. And, if you want to believe it, you can. But once you're a part of it and once you're able to truly get to see the world, I mean, it changes everything.
Yes.
And I'm so grateful that you are out here helping people to do that.
Thank you. I love it. It's really fun. I always say, I say this sort of jokingly in jest, but I say I love my job except the days I hate it. And there are a few of those, but that's just part of life and, part of what we do and all of that. But I would say 98% of the time, I absolutely love it. There's nothing more fulfilling than sending somebody on a dream vacation, creating something for somebody that they never thought in a million years would ever be possible. And they go off and they make memories.
Mm-hmm. Where can they find you?
Well, so first of all, I always say I love the name of my business, but it is a mouthful. But I have a website, and it is just An Extraordinary Traveler. So it's A as in Apple, N as in Nancy, extraordinarytraveler.com. I have a Facebook page, also An Extraordinary Traveler. You can also find me on the World Wide Web. If you Google travel agents in Colleyville, Texas, you can find me in that capacity. You can find me on the Travel Leaders Network page. Lots of different places. And of course, I have Instagram and I do have Twitter, although I admit that I'm not a very good tweeter. But I do have Twitter. But the best way to find me is either via my website or my Facebook page.
Awesome. This has been such an amazing interview. I'm so grateful that you made the decision to come and tell us about yourself and about your business. All of her information will be in the blog post, and you'll be able to find that on thetravelagenttpodcast.com and the Travel Agent Podcast Facebook. Thank you again so much for coming on the show today. You have been amazing. Thank you for joining the Travel Agent Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Visit thetravelagenttpodcast.com for more information about today's episode and other travel agent resources. Be sure to tune in every Thursday for new episodes. Until next time, continue to build a travel business you love.